The United States has a growing internal threat that must be dealt with, and his name is Senator Lindsey Graham. This guy is a homicidal maniac, as I said yesterday, in my opinion, that President Trump apparently loves and listens to, which is a grave threat to us all. And while President Trump is all over the map on potential timing to end the war in Iran, or the quote, little excursion, as he's now calling it, there is reporting that some of his advisors are now pushing to find an off ramp, understanding that with rising oil prices and gas prices and sentiment in the United States, the majority is against this war. Republicans are for it, but independents are overwhelmingly against it. And of course, Democrats are too, but independents matter for the midterms. Many think this is not worth it. We got some gains. Now let's get out. The Wall Street Journal reporting some of Mr. Trump's advisors are privately urging him now, please look for an exit plan amid these oil prices and concerns that political backlash is heading Republicans' way. Now the White House calls the reporting, quote, full of crap from anonymous sources. Okay, but there's no question that spiking oil prices, yesterday it went to, at one point, I think $120 a barrel. And then Trump, right before the markets closed, said, oh, we may be ending the conflict, sending the price going back down. Now he's being accused of market manipulation. But all of this will be a concern. There's no question consumers are already struggling with inflation, and affordability, so-called, has been their number one issue for a long time. And we do not want people's gas prices, and oil prices affect all prices, to be going up prior to the midterms. There are reports that top Republicans in difficult races in November have been calling the White House saying, please find a way out. This is not going to be helpful. But if any part of any of this is true, and again, the White House is denying, they call this Wall Street Journal report full of crap, that some advisors are pushing for an off-ramp. But if any part of it is true, it's not going to matter if Senator Lindsey Graham has his way. And his cohort over at Fox News, I mean, Sean Hannity is Lindsey Graham by a different name. It's amazing to me to watch them cheerlead this. I mean, we've got 7 U.S. personnel dead. We've got a girls' school, 175 young girls dead in Iran, and there's serious dispute. We'll get into who's behind that, but there's only serious dispute because the president is now saying that it wasn't us, but his own defense secretary over his shoulder is saying it's under investigation. And senators like Kennedy are saying, yeah, it looks like it was us. And the Wall Street Journal and others are reporting it was us. None of this is good, okay? And you would think at a minimum, somebody like Senator Graham would like pause and not look so bloodthirsty. How does that make the Trump administration look good when we know that he's working hand in hand with the president, that he's been one of his chief advisors, to make him look so cavalier about the death unfolding in the Middle East right now, and the likely of more to come? Last night on Hannity's program, Lindsey Graham did, like he was our Secretary of State or even our president. It was obscene. Who does he think he is? No one elected him as president. No one ever would. As if the American public would elect Lindsey Graham to lead this war. He thinks he's the commander-in-chief. He's starting to sound truly deluded, like someone needs a psychiatric intervention. Make agreements with other countries. Defend them if they go to war. This is what he's saying. He's threatening our allies. He's saying, I'll allow this. I'll push for that. Now I'll punish you in the following way. Who died and elected him president or secretary of state? And he may be a duly elected senator from South Carolina to represent the interests of South Carolina, but he's not the president. And by the way, he's not even representing the interests of South Carolina. He made clear last night that if you are a so-called isolationist, or if you've expressed doubts about the wisdom of this war, he's not on your side. And he said, and I quote, I'm with Israel. I don't care about you. I'm with Israel. You are an American senator representing the interests of South Carolinians who put you in office, sir, not Israel. You don't work for them, Lindsey. This is getting insane, you guys. Someone needs to reel him in, and he needs to be absolutely nowhere near the president's orbit, as I said yesterday. But Fox News, I tweeted this out, is parading him around on all of its shows like he's a Hefner bunny in stockings and a bushy tail. They know exactly what President Trump wants to see and the messaging he wants to hear, and it is as bellicose and war-hungry as you could possibly imagine. It is an isolationist or non-interventionalist worst nightmare. It is exactly the opposite of what President Trump ran on. Exactly the opposite. And yet Fox News is salivating over the prospect of more war, an extended conflict, and Lindsey Graham is its spokesperson. And President Trump seems to be enjoying that, because if he weren't, we wouldn't be seeing that anymore. These sound bites that we're going to play for you are all from one interview that Graham did last night with Sean Hannity. And I just have to say up front, Hannity offered zero pushback to any of this. Zero to anything you were about to hear. Like, why not do your viewers the service of just saying at least, hey, here's what your critics are saying. Here's what the president's critics are saying. Fox prides itself on having allegedly more independents watching its programming than any other cable news channel. Well, that's not saying much. But why not service them and offer both sides? Like, at least you're not going to have somebody who actually disagrees with Lindsey Graham, but you as the anchor, I used to do this. I know a thing or two about how to anchor a show that would wind up becoming the #1 show in cable for a Fox News audience in a way that's meaningful. Offer pushback if you don't have the other side. You, Sean, have to be the other side. I mean, that's what Roger Ailes praised all the time when I was at Fox. He loved it when you did that because he thought it was a service to the audience. Those days are gone. Now it's you cheerlead the war, support the military-industrial complex, or you're a loser. It's infuriating because we're talking about life and death. We're talking about American life or death. And this is a dereliction of duty. At one point, he let Senator Lindsey Graham speak uninterrupted for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. And this appears to be the president's main way of achieving an information briefing. He said he was talking about how, he got into this war. He listened to Jared Kushner. He listened to Steve Witkoff. He listened to Lindsey Graham. That's very clear. He's been praising Lindsey Graham's appearances, which is why Fox News puts him on more, and why Lindsey Graham feels totally at ease, sounding like he's got the president's job. We elected President Trump. That's who we want in that office. We do not want some crazed, childless maniac from South Carolina calling the shots in the Middle East. First up here, Senator Graham telling Saudi Arabia that the United States is willing to go to war for the Saudis, depending on Lindsey's following conditions. Listen here.
Finally, to my friends in Saudi Arabia, I've been your biggest champion. I think the Crown Prince has taken Saudi Arabia in a completely different direction in a good way. But here's what I want to say to Saudi Arabia tonight. I'm willing to do a mutual defense agreement with your country to give you protection in perpetuity. Under the agreement I've been pushing, and I hope we can continue to talk about, if you're attacked by Iran, we would go to war for you.
I'm willing to give you... Who the fuck are you? What do you mean I? Let me tell you, I voted for Donald Trump. I campaigned for Donald Trump. I endorsed Donald Trump. And I voted for him willingly and happily. I did not vote for Senator Lindsey Graham, nor would I ever. And I think a lot of South Carolinians are going to have second thoughts about having put him in the U.S. Senate. I will agree. What? We never elected you as commander-in-chief. This is outrageous. Next up, as I said, Senator Graham sent a message to any isolationist in the United States and any in South Carolina that put him in office who doesn't fully support this war, that he's not with you. He's with Israel. Not even with another American. He's with Israel, no questions asked. Watch.
I believe with all my heart and soul, if the regime in Iran still stands when this is over, we've made a mistake. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would use it. They've been lying about what they're doing with their nuclear program. They want to bomb because they're Nazis. They're crazy. They want to kill all the Jews, and the Jews have been down that road before. To our friends in Israel, God bless you. I'm with you in every way. To all the anti-Semitites, to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
Okay. I don't know what an anti-Semitite is, but the isolationists, forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. Okay. Right now, the majority of the country are feeling isolationist. They don't want this war. They don't want the foreign entanglement. They don't think that we have to do Israel's bidding in the Middle East. They think that Israel can handle itself, which it can. that it doesn't need American troops sacrificing their blood and treasure on the fields of Iran. So how dare you? How dare you say I'm not with you? You represent the isolationists and the neocons alike, sir, in the state of South Carolina, in the U.S. Senate. This is like some sort of he's given Nero vibes, this guy. He has been in the U.S. Senate for 23 years. You have to wonder, serving the wishes of Israel or of America? Certainly sounds like Israel is his top priority. Who voted for that? This is like, you say that we're doing this war for Israel, or that he was pushed into this war by people who are Israel first, and you get called an anti-Semite. It's fine. As you guys know, I've been called worse. I've been called all the names: racist, bigot, homophobe, transphobe, you name it. I've been called it. It's funny at this point in my career. By the time I hit my age and my level in journalism, you kind of laugh at it, because you're either I'm a demon, I'm an absolutely evil demon, or people just like to call me names when I step on their favorite issue. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's the latter. But this guy, he is Israel first. He is truly Israel first. I don't think Senator Graham is Jewish. So you can't even argue that it's an anti-Semitic comment, but it wouldn't be even if he were. He is Israel first. He says it openly. This has to be stopped. They have co-opted our foreign policy through our own U.S. senator, who for some bizarre reason now has the ear of the president, like he's, Tom, what's his name? Tom in The Godfather. Is it Higgins? No, it's not Higgins. I can't remember his last name. Robert Duvall. Tom Hagen. Thank you. It's crazy. Someone has to step in. Someone who loves the president. JD, Marco, Ivanka, someone who he respects. Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth about $165,000. That's why many smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. And it's why you should consider buying gold from Birch Gold Group. For thousands of years, gold has been a store of wealth, and today it's a crucial part of any balanced strategy. Even better, Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered retirement account in gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Again, text MK to the number 989898 today. As I told you yesterday, there was a report in the Journal that Mark Thiessen and Jack Keane, General Jack Keane, two friends of mine at Fox News. I think Mark Thiessen would tell you the reason he's a Fox News contributor and you know his name is because of yours truly. I, too, used to be very neocon-y while on Fox. It's one of the reasons I'm so anti-war right now. I participated in this. I helped cheerlead it. I blindly supported the administration and its lies about the war when George W. Bush was president. And I didn't know they were lies at the time. I just unquestioningly followed them, swallowed them, and then delivered them to an audience which kept approval numbers at a decent rate, at least within the Republican Party. So I know how the game works. And the game is dishonest. And I refuse to be a part of that again. No. We'll report. I am rooting for victory. Unlike these weirdos who are like cheering on the Iranians right now. I want the United States to win this now that we're in it. I want a solid defeat if it can be achieved. But I'm also going to be honest, and it's not going universally well over there. We're getting propaganda from the administration, and then we're getting just the naysayers who report nothing but bad news for the United States, which isn't true either. It's quite a feat to have sunk their entire Navy, which we appear to have done. Don't underestimate the power of the U.S. military, but the bloodlust by the administration spokespeople, and this guy chief among them, is very disconcerting. It's very off-putting. He then, went on to issue a warning to Spain. Okay, what are we now doing to Spain? Not to mention the entire Arab world.
To our friends in Spain, man, you have lost your way. I don't want to do business with you anymore. I want our air bases out of Spain into a country that will let us use them. To our Arab friends, I've tried to help you construct a new Mideast. You need to up your game here. I can't go to South Carolina and say we're fighting and you won't publicly fight. What you're doing behind the scenes, that has to stop. The double dealing of the Arab world when it comes to this stuff needs to end.
No one elected you as our commander-in-chief. Shut the fuck up. Get off the national scene. You've disgraced yourself and endangered our troops long enough. Okay. The business about the Arab world is a point that should be discussed because it did emerge that it was not only Israel reportedly urging President Trump to get into this war. Not reportedly. Israel urged President Trump to get into this war. Period. Lindsey Graham was flying over to Israel and briefing a foreign country's leader on how to manipulate the sitting U.S. president. That's been confirmed. Okay, that's the Wall Street Journal reporting. The Wall Street Journal, that's been very supportive of this war, that's very neocon-y, whose owners are the Murdochs, with whom the president remains close. It's on again, off again. Just yesterday, there were pictures of Jared and Ivanka at Rupert Murdoch's 95th birthday party all over the internet. That's the paper reporting that Lindsey Graham, who's proud of it. It was an interview with Lindsey Graham. It wasn't like anonymous sources say. Lindsey Graham gave the Wall Street Journal an interview and reported firsthand that he's been flying over to Israel to deal with a foreign country's leader on how to manipulate the sitting president into war. Everyone telling those of us who said Israel got us into this, that we're anti-Semites, you are fucking wrong. Read the paper. Listen to the guy who is the chief advisor now to the sitting president. You may not like it, but it's true. It's crazy that this has been allowed. We did go through the confirmation process for an actual Secretary of State to advise the president, for an actual Director of National Intelligence to advise the president, for an actual Vice President to advise the president. Those are the people that we also confirmed and elected in some cases, in JD's case, not Lindsey Graham as any foreign policy advisor, as any commander-in-chief, as any Secretary of State. And where are those people, by the way? I saw Tulsi and dressed in full uniform at the dignified transfer as the remains of our first fallen returned to Dover. Good for her. She looked dignified. I guarantee you she's against this. She's been the most outspoken of the administration on war with Iran. I don't expect her at all to be speaking out against the president. I actually don't think she should. Same for JD. That's a behind closed doors kind of conversation. And I do wonder, I don't know what the answer is. You know, the president had a comment about JD yesterday saying he wasn't too enthusiastic. And then he was enthusiastic, but he's been enthusiastic, but he wasn't enthusiastic. You know how President Trump is. So there's no question JD didn't favor this, but who would expect them to publicly criticize the president? I said the same about Kamala Harris, by the way, when Joe Biden opened the border. It's not about what they say publicly. Publicly, they're expected to back their boss. But behind the scenes, they're expected to do something and represent the interests that got them the job. Anyway, back to Hannity and Graham. That interview ended with Graham saying, we should move all of our, quote, stuff, apparently our military assets, to Israel. We should move all of our stuff to Israel instead of to other countries that aren't as cooperative.
Spain, Macron, and Great Britain, they either wake up. This is their tipping point moment too. Just like the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, you decide now. UAE, decide now. Qatar, decide now. Because I'm a little sick and tired of the constant threading of needles. They wanted the Iranians stopped as much as the Israelis did.
Absolutely.
Truth be told.
God bless Israel.
Right.
We should move all our stuff to Israel. Thank you.
Senator Graham, thank you.
Okay, so we should move all of our stuff to Israel. We should pull all of our there's a reason we have our military bases across the Middle East and Europe, and it's that Israel can't really do it. They can't house all of our military bases in a way that would protect the region. And look, but the point, the larger point about how the Saudis pushed us to get into this war, and now that it's underway, don't want to actually join it, is a fair point. That's true. But that was something we should have foreseen when they were pushing us. That was up to us to calculate how they've behaved in the past and how they're likely to behave now. You know, I mean, I can't get over the Animal House line. You fucked up. You trusted us. It's probably what they're saying. We urged you to start a war that we would not help you with, And now it's your problem, not ours. They know the Middle East. They're like, we don't want this quagmire on our hands. Let it be your problem, United States. That's what Israel's thinking too. Do you think Israel cares if our relationship frays with the Saudis and with Qatar and with UAE? They don't care at all. In fact, that's good for them. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.